Oh, hey there. Welcome to another episode of Qualified Nonsense. If you joined us before, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome to the beautiful and amazing train wreck that is Qualified Nonsense. The three of us are here and ready to tackle the wild, interesting, and sometimes disgusting depths of Reddit for your pleasure. Whether you're joining us on your commute to work or you're deucing on the dollar, get ready for another episode. I'm Matt.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Brandon.
I'm Brandon.
Oh.
That was my line.
Wow. God. That was so like, that's a social experiment. I mean, that's what we do all the time. It's like somebody's got us on a dog clicker.
Wait, did you do that on accident?
No. I guess I'm having a stroke. Wow. Huh. Okay.
Stepping on my lines. Oh my gosh.
What the hell's in this thing?
Smoke weed every day.
Well, we're off to a...
This is Qualified Nonsense.
Oh, right. Yeah. What are we listening to?
And we're back.
That reminds me when Brandon, when we were in New York and or you were visiting New York and we went to your hotel room to record Friendemonium.
Yeah, to record. Wink.
Yeah, we had sex. And
Recorded some.
and
I have a narrow urethra.
and
Just a couple of bros with their hummus cannons.
Oh, I hate that.
Getting after their dragon pearls.
What is
Anyway.
that?
The dragon pearls.
No.
Think about it.
Oh, and well, and I said that I was Adrian Hershey or Kosnick or whichever.
Just
right.
misintroducing yourself.
Yeah.
Well, that was a new one.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
About that time. Another episode.
What's
good
been,
in everybody's world?
Yeah. What's been happening?
It's the haps.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. Or
Just recorded a podcast.
Where's your
Big
crickets?
gulps,
And no, I mentioned it last episode, but now both my kids have had
Sickness? Are they sick
no,
now?
Measles?
no. Soccer. So soccer practice and soccer tryouts, which I didn't know elementary school had soccer tryouts, but my oldest did a soccer tryout today, and so he was pretty jazzed about that. There was
What happens
They're
if
gonna-
they don't
At some
make
point,
it?
these kids
Or is
need
that
to
an
learn
option?
disappointment.
it's going to be devastation, but like we're going to work through it. And I think he's really good. You know, last week we talked about me turning 40. And
Oh,
and
now you're
today-
going to be the dad if he doesn't make the team because you're over there being like, look, my kid is good.
no, the thing is, like, today
Where's
was
the
the
coach? I'm gonna
first
fight
day
him.
that my 9-year-old properly ran like a couple of plays against me that he just tuned me up. Like I wasn't nerfing myself at all. I just got owned, and I was like, okay, well,
Daddy's ACL hurts now.
yeah, exactly. So that's where I am. But yeah, kids are playing soccer, so that's exciting, and I might
Do
be a
they-
coach.
Kids running made me think of this. Do they still do jogathons?
They do.
Yeah, kind of. At our school, they did. It's like I don't know, like they were trying to raise money for the teachers' lounge and something else at the school. This last
make the
season,
kids
get
go
more
raise the
ashtrays.
money. Look, the teachers need a new lounge. Go make the kids run for it.
Can we get a
thought
pinball
did cross
machine in
my
here?
mind. Yeah.
I mean, if little Johnny does 1,400 laps, we'll get that new Coke machine.
Doesn't that seem messed up? Thinking about like making kids raise money for their own school, like I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Like shouldn't be that way. Like I think it's fine that they raise money. They could do it for cancer research or whatever. But like, I don't know, like raising
Or
it for
like
their
an-
own school
or
seems
like an event, but like, yeah, you're right. It's like, hey, you know the parents and the families that pay taxes to support the school. Well, we're gonna get them to pay more by having your kid run around in circles.
Dude, there's so we have some friends that their kids go to private Catholic school, and the shit they make the parents do is like, all right, sweet, you're already paying for the school,
Yeah,
period. And now, if you go to that school, you are required to volunteer X amount of hours per month, and then you have to do like to just volunteer at the school. And then they have this like fundraising gala thing every year, and I was like, yeah, here's my fundraiser. It's called a monthly check to you. But like the things that they make you do in private school, I was like, geez, we just pay taxes and we get like meh education.
that's like colleges having alumni associations. It's like, I don't want to give you more money. I already gave you a bunch of money to begin with.
Kara gets those. I happily throw those away. Don't even look at them.
you guys know. You want to know something really fun? I just found out because we've got UNC and Duke right next to us in North Carolina, and Duke. Granted, it's an expensive school, but Duke tuition, room, and board. What do you think the cost is for a year?
In state or out of state?
In state.
Duke's
60.
private, right?
Duke's private. Yeah,
Yeah, at like 63.
close. 96.
Oh, well, not that close.
For
For undergrad?
sure, for undergrad, room, board, sure, but isn't that wild?
Privates are usually pretty stingy with their scholarships.
And it's a super competitive school. Anna worked there for just like a I guess a academic year, as one of her work study things for social work, and she's a therapist, right? So she was there in their alcohol abuse center or whatever, and she had clients, like she had people that she was talking to on the regular that were like, everybody was stressed out by the academic pressures of doing well for $96,000 a year. Pretty wild.
It's too bad you left your former job when you did. You could have met Bill Belichick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's coaching for them now. But
try to meet a new girlfriend.
We can cut that out if you want, because that might be doxing. Or people.
No, I didn't work for Duke, so it was close, but no cigar.
No, Bill Belichick is at University of North Carolina though.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
This is how in tuned I am with the sports ball. I don't mind. They'll be okay. And I'll be okay, I think. And also, like, who even listens to this show?
People who already know where you work. So
Mom, don't dox me. I'm just kidding. My parents, I don't think, listen anymore. They used to
I'm
listen.
just kidding. Shout out to Albania. Don't look us up.
Assalamu alaikum.
Well, should we take a little break and get to some Q nannies?
Yeah. Yeah.
certainly. Be right back. Welcome back. Feel free to drop us a line at qualifiednonsense@gmail.com or connect with us on our socials. Now's the time on the show where we take on Reddit's most pressing questions by finding the top trending questions, randomizing them, and then answering them here. First one.
Speaking of which, thank you, Brandon, for doing that administrative work.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, carry on.
It was nothing.
May continue.
This comes to us from Ask Reddit, username WTWHH. They ask, what was the biggest scandal in your high school?
Do you want to go there?
And keep in mind that we probably have people from high school who listen, so we should probably be a little sensitive about names and things that
I was just
we
about to
say.
drop a first name, last name, so I'm glad you said that. There was a guy who got suspended during, and this was impactful for me because I was in the show that they were in, but they got suspended for fighting with an adult on campus. Do you guys remember that?
I'm gonna say which time.
Yeah,
I feel like this
yeah,
individual.
yeah. This
Was it
individual
the one
got
time
in a
this
lot.
person showed up to rehearsal drunk?
Yeah.
No,
It-
no,
Oh,
that
different
was-
time. He got expelled.
Okay.
I mean, they got expelled because they got in a fist fight with their girlfriend's dad.
If you want to use the names, I could bleep it out in the edit, but
no, that's okay.
all right.
They'll be okay.
Keep in mind, this is also an individual that got expelled from middle school for bringing a butterfly knife in.
Which a butterfly knife is nothing more than a child's plaything. So, like,
They shouldn't have such a whimsical name if they don't want kids playing with it.
Yeah.
Lean in for your kiss.
No, but as I understand it, so this person didn't like this adult didn't like this high school student dating his daughter, so he went up and like shoved this person against the wall or something, like as school was letting out. So it was like on campus, and then he like pinned him up against the wall, and then like
Kissed
put his hands around his throat or something like that, gave him a kiss, and then this person punched the adult in the face, and the adult was like, "Ah, yes, this is what I wanted." And with a bloody face, he was like, "Hey, principal, hey, like staff, I was attacked by a student on your property." And really, what should have happened was the adults, the administrative staff should have been like, "What were you doing attacking a child on campus?" But like,
Granted, I don't know. I would want my daughter dating this individual. That's a real like bitch thing to do, to like push a kid and get a kid to hit you and then be like, "Ooh, you
high
hit
school,
me."
dude. Yeah, exactly. High school.
I don't remember
They're
this. We'll have to
minors.
talk off air about.
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
Well,
I
I
vaguely remember
I
this.
only remember it because it was during a show. This person had a lead in a show that we were doing, and we had to finish rehearsals in someone's church because that person wasn't allowed on campus. And there was like petitioning for getting them to not be expelled or whatever, because they're like, this is fucked up. And the administration was like, no, this person's a problem anyway. How is that for vagueness? That wasn't a very good story. The listeners are like, what? Cool. I should have given him a different name.
I think for me, one of the weirder things was a senior year pregnancy and like marriage. I know they're still married to this day, but I think they were like trying to get married before they actually graduated.
I remember that they had a kid before they graduated. Yeah. That was pretty. I mean, actually, do you guys remember? And I don't know do you have your senior? There's a whole 2-page spread dedicated to all the kids born in our senior year. Do you remember that?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I don't have it anymore, but
I can guarantee you none of them are my kids.
Same.
Got my first kid senior year.
That would be interesting to, like, you're talking to your kids, showing them your yearbook, and you're like, oh, and here's your birth announcement, and like turning to the page of the yearbook.
Yeah, exactly.
You made it into mommy and daddy's scrapbook.
Yeah.
I'm 30, you're 25, and
although for those of us with kids, if you look back on it, those individuals are now adults and their kids are already out of their house, and that's really hard for me to think about because I have a 6-year-old.
Isn't that wild? I think about that actually pretty frequently, because the few times that I'm on Facebook, that person who started a family in high school, like pops up periodically, and I think it probably the algorithm has me because I usually hover or like take a look at the pictures because I'm like, wow,
Zoom in.
that's wild. Yeah.
Oh man,
You're like
age
liking
was not-
pictures from 5 years ago. You're like, shit.
No, that's terrible.
Time was not good to them. Ooh.
Ooh.
Uh,
I say with a bald fucking head.
I feel like people who you hear a lot about this, and maybe it's like, you know, people tend to be more religious or whatever, who do marry their high school sweethearts, but it seems like people who do marry young, like when they're 18 or married their high school sweethearts, stay married.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
just
a lot.
anecdotally, it seems that way to me.
I would say the odds are even more stacked against them. Of like, you know, all marriages end. 50% of marriages end in divorce. I would say like, yeah, but if you married them from the ages of 18 to 21, it's like 75%.
So there's a statistic that I don't know the answer to, or like I don't know the specifics, but arranged marriages have a high sort of success rate because there are people who learn to grow together and communicate with each other. That's
I would
the
also say because they've
anecdote
been
anyway.
emotionally abused to believe that that's love.
Or is it more like family and societal pressure to stay together?
Not wrong. Yeah, that's a good point. All
Like
right,
you would be
my
like
information's
bringing
flawed.
great shame on your family to split up.
Once again, Jake opened his mouth with an opinion that nobody agrees with.
Idiot. Shut up and sit down.
Well, no, I mean, I'm like you didn't pull that out of your ass. I'm sure. Like you're probably right that like you do kind of have to adapt.
But you're right though. There are
be-
other factors that must play a role in people staying together. Because yeah, you're right. Arranged marriages probably have a pretty heavy religious influence that probably also punishes or looks down upon splitting.
Yeah, I would
up,
say
so.
I'd be curious to see what that would be like if those individuals felt like they had free will or no other constraints on them.
Something I thought of in high school, relating back to theater, is I remember a kid we went to high school with getting a BJ, and then backstage, and then the young lass who finished him off spit the contents of her mouth onto one of the curtains, and they had to replace the curtain.
I had totally forgotten about that.
Which was a big deal. Those curtains are expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how you, Brandon, you're like, I don't know, should I say it? I'm gonna try to say BJ, and it's like, it's like spit.
Blowjay is my preferred term for that, just because it's a little more shocking. But yeah, no. So I'm having trouble. I guess because everything that I'm thinking of with regard to high school people, I'm thinking of events that occurred after high school about them. So like my memory of them is high school, but the events that I'm like, ooh, that was something worth noting. But I was like, oh, that event happened after high school, but about the person that I remember in high school. You know what I mean?
Let's out everybody on our podcast, our fall from grace.
No, not really that way. I just mean my point is that I was like, ooh, that happened, and I was like, oh no, that was after high school.
Yeah, there was a couple. There was one. You know, an individual steaming up the car windows with a minor who happened to be a coach at the
Oh
time.
shit, I definitely forgot about that one.
So we
This is not
graduated
when
with
we
this
were
individual.
in high school, but it was someone we
he
graduated with.
we graduated with this person. Ultimately, went on to be a coach at the school. Another situation of a parent that was suspicious of people dating their daughter, and caught them in the car steaming up the windows, and ultimately spent a little time in the clink. It sounds like.
Yeah, he had to register as an SO. But,
Glory days. Dun, dun, dun,
Glory days.
here's some top answer here by username dumbfuck. They
Nice.
had a kid known as the Mad Shitter defecated everywhere but in toilets. All boys prep school. Kids' behavior just kept escalating. Floor of a stall, bathroom radiator, empty classroom, stairwell. Dean of students was getting increasingly pissed, yelling at us over the PA daily. It all came down to when he shit inside a piano in the music room and got caught on camera. His rich parents donated a new grand piano, and he wasn't even expelled. And then somebody replying said, the shitter at my high school was called the Fecal Phantom. He was never caught.
Nice.
Okay, so I don't know that that's a scandal. I think that's like a running prank. Like we have some good examples of that, but that's pretty good.
This one says a teacher marrying a student the summer she graduated and turned 18. That sounds like a scandal.
Oh, that does sound
Ooh,
nice.
we
That
had
actually
that.
reminds
We
me.
had that. We had that. Our right wasn't the It was after we graduated, but still happened in school. Didn't the police officer on campus was dating a minor, got in trouble, and then they got married after she graduated, right?
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
There was. Oh, I mean, I wish Ryan
But
were
love
here.
is love,
He knew all
Matt.
that.
Jesus.
I'm more than
No,
confident
actually,
that was the case.
there was an ongoing affair that happened. Do you guys remember that I had a late high school
Balloon session?
Oh no, after late high school, I had a girlfriend who went to school at an all-girls school in Portland, and she had a classmate that was like having an ongoing affair with a married teacher at her school. I don't remember the details, but I remember that being scandalous.
It is scandalous.
This one, the son of one of the teachers OD'd on DXM one day and had to be removed via ambulance. He was out from school for a bit. Then literally first day he was back, he OD'd again and had to have an ambulance called again.
Would you say that Ryan's Dornbecker Day experience would be a scandal? I feel like that's something that sticks.
I don't know if that was a scandal, but that was a stressful event for everybody, for him. And
so, friend of the podcast, with Dornbecker Days, you donate blood, and they have to do an AIDS test beforehand.
I
and this
remember
all
that.
happens at the school, and obviously, when you're doing tests, you can get false positives, and so he tested. He tested positive for AIDS.
So
his mom came screaming down to the school like, "Where's my boy?"
Yo, no, I remember because he went. So he went. I remember this so vividly. He went to get like another test, and the doctor. Oh man, this is good. And then the doctor said.
It should have been a bigger deal, and then
to some effect, she said like this test is never wrong, or like it's highly unlikely that this particular test that he failed in, or like was positive in, is wrong, and they took more blood, and they wouldn't let him know immediately. So I remember this just absolutely crystal clear. We were in choir. I'm sitting in the tenor section. He's a bass. He walks in, like right next to the front doors. You have your like your music pamphlets or your music binders, and he walks in, and then me and I forget who else. I think Phil, and like we start like giggling because he like just walked in, and we're like, oh, he's back from his tests, and we're like, oh yeah, because he was like really milking it at that point, remember? And he turned around to go to his section, and his eyes were red, and he had clearly been crying, and he had like his like cheeks were wet, and we were like, ah, and we stopped immediately. We're like, oh no. Because he had gotten the news that it was probable that the tests were accurate. And so we were like yucking in choir, and then like then he was clearly upset, and we were like, oh no. And then later after it, like everything was sorted out and he didn't have AIDS, and he was telling people that he had beaten it.
Yeah, he beat AIDS.
At the local movie theater, people had advertisements before, like local businesses could put advertisements before movies, and the doctor that told him that every time her office would put and she was one of the people on the screen, he'd be like, "Fuck that lady, she's so fucking asshole." He was just so vocal. We'd be like, "Dude, chill out." He's like, "She said I had AIDS. I didn't have AIDS." So good.
That's a scandal that was very serious for a minute,
Yeah.
but now we can laugh it off.
But now we can laugh about it.
Oh, good one. Let's see. What do we have next? All right, this one is on the subreddit Ask Men Over 30.
Nice.
Username Logmeln. They ask, you have the entire week off. What are you doing to pass the time and enjoy yourself? And they say, just curious as to what you do to pass the time. I don't want to ask about if money wasn't an issue because that's silly. But if my life was the same and I had maybe an entire week off with no chores required, no mowing the lawn or taking out the trash needed, I'd just go to a stationery store to check out and test pens, maybe pick one up and go to several brands around NYC and check out backpacks. I'm a bit of a pen and backpack nerd. I watch a lot of YouTube videos at home, but would want to go and play with the things and feel them in person. Find some good cheap food too. That would make me happy. So, assuming, I guess you're not traveling, and everything in your life is the same, what would you do with a week off?
I'm really interested. Oh, go ahead.
I'm assuming to yourself also. So
I know where you're going with this, Jake. I want to, like, are we talking like pens, like ink pens?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah.
I mean, those are two just very interesting things.
Well, so speaking of which, I would encourage listeners and you guys to check out, apparently in Japan, there's a huge culture around, or not a culture. There's a huge interest and following of stationery and pens. And there's like conventions and like desk items get like awards and like most sought after and stuff. And I didn't know this was a thing, but it's apparently a pretty big deal in Japan. So check it out because there's some really cool stuff out there.
It sounds like how at like county fairs they have like table setting as a competition that like people can compete in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it seems super, super niche, but it's, it's pretty popular. So I guess that's probably the pen element, but I don't know about the backpack side of that. I mean, I guess it's probably just another niche market of like bespoke, cool, hip,
I do like I always thought it was kind of strange, but then when you see the people that are into pens and like what they put their money into, it's really cool. Like there was a guy that worked at the bank who was into pens, and he was like very protective of them, got to the point where he wouldn't leave them at work. He would, take them home with him. But he found this fountain pen, but it was, the needle of it was like an old, when you think of Sweeney Todd and their writing in the red, like you dip the quill in the ink. It was really cool. But again, he spent like $400 on the thing. I was like, ooh,
Jesus.
But again, it's really cool.
It's kind of like watch guys, sort of like guys who are like really into, expensive watches.
They they typically view them as a collector piece, though. Like this is only going to gain in value. And while sure they'll wear them from time to time, it's like the guys that are really into it have a collection that they rarely bring out, and they're just using it as an investment strategy.
There was a guy at the men's group who he's a watch guy, and he was wearing a watch that was from 1965 or sometime in the 60s, but it's one of the Coca-Cola retirement watches. So if you work for Coca-Cola on your 25-year anniversary, you get a Rolex watch, and it says like Coca-Cola on it, and then like in the back it's engraved. And I was looking at it. It was kind of cool, kind of a cool thing. So it would mean that the person worked at Coke since like the 30s. But
So you being you, did you Google its estimated value?
I did look on eBay for them, and I mean they stopped doing it obviously because like every company, no company gives watches anymore. But it was the one I found. It seemed pretty pricey, but
Nice.
but yeah, it was kind of cool.
I think for me, like to the question, I guess I've been keeping this running list of spots that I'd like to go eat at in Portland and Beaverton, and like a lot of them are in Beaverton, Hillsboro, for some reason. But if I was
Cheaper
staying
real
locally,
estate.
and it was, I mean, a lot of them are like hot pot places, but I think I'd probably go to those spots that always are in your mind. And the reason I started this list is because I was like, man, what was that restaurant? I feel like I knew this one, so I started keeping a running list, and it's pretty big. So if you had a week off, I don't know, maybe go to the mall, hit up a nice spot you've never been to.
Yeah, I'd probably do the same. I would probably go to restaurants I've been meaning to go to. Probably, go to the movies during the day. Maybe go to a museum. Maybe drive up, see my parents. Maybe go on day trip to the coast or to Bend or something, or maybe an overnight trip.
Visit Multnomah Falls at 7 a.m. on a Wednesday where the parking lot isn't full.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nothing too exciting. Like I'm not really somebody who likes to like, if I have a day off, I don't really like to just like, oh, I'm just going to do nothing today and just sit on the couch. And I kind of feel like I should be more useful with my time, even if that involves sitting on my ass in a movie theater or whatever. But
would
Yeah,
you
but,
go
like doing something?
like
yeah.
you guys like to antique? Is that a desirable time because like zero competition or whatever?
Yeah, although, I mean, I don't know how many places you've been to during the day, but there's a shitload of old people out and about during the day, and like stores are choked with them. And
Naked Gun? No, Airplane. That airplane scene of like the pilot punching all of those Hare Krishna people. That's how I imagine you antiquing
Weeding
in
through 'em.
mid-make.
Get out of the way! I need to shine my light and see if it's uranium glass.
You want me to put you in this urn?
Oh, shit.
Get out of my way.
So two things. I got distracted while you guys were talking about watches, because it made me think of. Do you guys know the guy Damien Broderick? He's a TikToker that he does this like series. It's like Let's Get Dressed, and he shows.
Yeah.
Anytime you ask, like, do you know this person or have you heard of this thing? It makes me feel a million years old because it's always like somebody from like TikTok or who has a YouTube channel, and like
You're
I've
not
never
on
heard
TikTok,
of them.
right?
No. But
Okay.
like it always makes me feel old because you're like, oh, have you seen this web series or whatever? And like,
Have you seen this internet thing?
not Jeopardy
next
or the
up.
Wheel? Haven't heard of it.
You invested in the crypto that just got launched?
Brandon, I feel like you actually would enjoy this. This guy dresses up a little bit Peaky Blindersy.
He's
But,
an Irish guy that whispers, and he goes every video starts. It's Tuesday, so let's get dressed.
Yeah, but he always looks super
does he dress
fucking
up
sharp.
like he's like, I'm going to dress up like somebody from the 1880s Old West or whatever, or
He doesn't
that the same
declare it.
guy?
That's just his style.
Oh, never mind then. There's a different guy that I've seen that does like different
He
eras
tries
of dress.
to do a lot
but
of the stuff is ASMR.
Yeah,
no,
but it's I'm always entertained by his. Well, all of his videos are pretty good, but his watches, I'm always like, ooh, that's a cool watch. Because
I
they're
look
all
up
like,
all of his fragrances. They're like
have you gotten
$400
any?
bottles.
Are they $400?
Yeah, he just did a collaboration
Well-
with one. It was like, oh, here's a giveaway of Monaco leather, or what is it? It was called Monaco leather, I think it was. And I looked it up, and you had to join a wait list because they sold out, and each bottle was like $400. I was like,
Ugh,
yeah,
I was
sounds
gonna
about right.
I was gonna look up the fragrances because I'm like, I'm not a fragrance guy, but I was like, oh, I'd like to try. I'd like to. I mean, he makes it look sort of fun or cool or whatever, and so I was like, oh, I'll look those up, but I haven't, and now I don't need to because
He does a lot of like Creed Aventus, and that's another like almost $400 bottle.
Jesus Christ.
I wish I could dress myself as well as, or just not as well as him, but yeah, him. But like just in general, I wish I could do that better.
Well, so when I was working at my last place, I made a special effort not to dress too casually. Like they had a higher level dress code than I'm used to, but I was always wearing collared shirts and stuff, and it did add a level of professionalism, and I was like, I could get used to this. Like it's like a sort of a square thing to do, and it's a pain in the butt, but it did add a level of like pretend value or something. I don't know what it was, but like I like stood straighter. I was just more formal, I guess. So I would
I think
also
it
be into that.
it does help you perform better, like subconsciously.
Yeah.
I look good, I feel good, and as cliche as that is, you know, I love working from home and not going into the office, but I'm also like in sweatpants, and
Right.
you know, it's like you can meet it. I think you subconsciously meet that at a casual playing
Right.
field. So
Yeah. But back to the actual question. I would want to like I think I've I've mentioned it probably half a dozen times, but I've had 2 ash trees taken out, and I've got a bunch of shit in my backyard that I would love to start chipping away at and hacking up and
Ash
that
stashing
would
away.
be
trees?
great.
Ash
trees.
trees.
Oh,
I'll tell you what, I've got a couple of ashtrays that I'd love to fill up.
I'm gonna just smoke all week, butt to butt.
But
You know what sounds actually fun to do with your, like if you had nowhere to be, do you do you remember, or did you ever, I know Jake, you most definitely did, I did with my grandparents, but like just a burn pile,
yeah.
like a good fucking burn pile, just stand next to and throw stuff on and just be like, it's almost like guys that smoke meats, and it's like, what'd you do? Oh, I made this brisket. It's like, well, why are you so drunk? It's like, well, it took 16 hours.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Matt-
a burn pile where you're just
Matt,
hanging
every
out.
time I catch up with my folks, it's about the burn pile that they did. No, that's not true. It's almost every time I talk to my folks, they are cutting wood, or they're I'm like, oh, what did you guys get up to this weekend? And it's they made a burn pile. They had like extra debris. They made a burn pile and they roasted
We're
like
either
hot
cutting
dogs.
wood or burning wood.
Right. Right, exactly. No, that
Growing it.
if you're listening, mom, pop, I know you guys do other things and you guys have a lot of fun. I just mean like I'm always jealous of your recounts of, going into the woods and cleaning up limbs. And
There's something so, I know it's nostalgia because that's what we
oh
did.
yeah,
but I find it
100%.
incredibly comforting.
Oh
Of
yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
what are you doing? Getting rid of this shit here and putting it up there. Okay, how's that going? Good.
Good.
Look at all this space now.
Are you, Jake, where you're at now? Are you not allowed to have a burn pile? Yeah.
I probably could, but I'd probably get the marshal called on me, the fire marshal. We live next to a little grove, I guess, so it does feel like a little bit outdoorsy, but we're still in Durham proper, so there would probably be a frustration. Although, my we have like I have a solo stove, and so granted they're advertised as not producing a lot of smoke, so that's probably a benefit. But people have like little campfires, but I think a burn pile would be
How are the
horrible.
solo stoves good at keeping the smoke down?
Yeah, they do
That's
a really
their
good
that's
job.
what they're designed for.
But they do it.
I mean, I don't know how much of that is just marketing or
Yeah,
but
it's actually really fun to sit around because what it does is I don't know exactly what it does, but it pulls
Pulls the air from the base and it circulates around the ring that's on top.
right,
So
and
it's
it
like
pulls
constantly...
it back through, so it like twice burns it, so there's not a lot of extra
so it burns like the
smoke, I guess.
particulate that would be
Right.
in the smoke.
Right. And what's fun is that you can sit around and it is not smoke. It like doesn't produce much smoke. But then also there's like little holes around the top rim that like the fire sort of circulates around it. So it's super mesmerizing. Like it's a lot of fun to just sit around and get the heat from the, like I love a burn pile or like a campfire, but then also there's the extra visual element. I'm like, this is good.
It's funny, I guess I say that for me it would be to just have a burn pile.
Yeah.
But we, when we decided to have a family, we put the funds and the time in for building an outdoor living area. So we have a wood burning fireplace outside that's masoned and everything, and it has a covered shelter, but I don't think we've used it in like 2 years.
You
So
should use
maybe
it.
need to revisit that. It was before they built all the homes behind us. And when that's kind of where I'm at. Like when they were building them, we have like all of our old snow tires and stuff, and I'd be like, fuck it. Whenever they're showing houses, I'm just going to go burn a tire. Like, no,
does
we
your
want to live
HOA
here.
have any rules, or your county or anything about backyard fires?
They're, just traditional no burn times, which you have to follow county rules. But the HOA, we had to pass the plans through because you could see the roof from the roof. I don't know. Stupid HOA bullshit, but it was not really that big deal.
Aren't you on the board or something of your HOA?
No.
Oh.
I should be. But I just turned in somebody today for a person that I believe is a board member that has like 4 parked cars outside that hasn't moved them in ages. I was like, well, time to get you there, Carl. Or whatever his name is.
or whatever his name is.
Yeah, the county that I live in, like the whole county, you have to have 2 or more acres to be able to have a burn pile, like anything larger than like a small like fire pit type thing.
Yeah. I should look that up, because if I can have a burn pile, I'm going to burn some shit.
Do it. Take a week off.
I know. I should.
From your new job you just started. Just tell them it's mental
Although
health
this does
days.
say no chores required, no mowing the lawn or taking out the trash. I would imagine that burning stuff, or you said you needed to take care of stuff in your yard. That's
But if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, but I think that's the distinction, is that it's something that
you enjoy.
Yeah. The satisfaction of getting that thing done is pretty high. And maybe that's lame, but like, all right.
Yeah, who hurt you? You know what I'm going to do with my time off?
Well, it also sounds
Clean
like
up
this
everybody's
person
yard.
lives
Build
in
a
New
fence with my
York,
time
so
off.
they probably don't have a lot of
they're like, start a burn pile on the on the fire escape
in the courtyard of your
in the courtyard.
Top answer here is go out to eat, go to the beach, play some video games, rub a few out, take some naps.
My man.
Start catching up on my backlog of books. I finish about a book a month, but a few days of coffee, low music, and books would clear that up quickly. I would spend the week in my shop working on my woodworking projects.
Yeah.
Work on my Olympic lift at the gym. read some books that I haven't had the chance to read yet, find myself a good coffee. Oh, that reminds me. I was looking up. Have you guys we mentioned it last episode. We were talking about weightlifting and stuff. And have you seen like the power lifters, like the ones who like where they get bloody noses from lifting so much that
yeah.
like what their blood pressure can get to?
No.
geez.
It's like
No.
something insane, like 200 over like 150 or something. Like it's like
So where you should
insanely
die.
high. Yeah, but I was reading something about it, and it was like what weightlifters' blood pressure gets to, and it's like you should be like that's almost
Dead.
killing you.
I thought you were going to go somewhere else. There's a video circling around of a woman power lifter, and she, she's doing the cling and getting ready to do the jerk, but as she's bringing the bell up, she just pees everywhere and does the entire lift, and she has a spotter, and she drops it, and the spotter doesn't react, and she doesn't react. Like, it's just a common thing. And I know, like, people can vomit and, stuff
Yeah, I've
like that,
seen
or pass
vomiting.
out.
Yeah.
But I was like, really? To just, like, let it all out? I guess that makes sense. But at the same time, but, like, just be like, no, that's okay. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
This says extremely high blood pressure elevations of up to 345 over 245 were observed during lifts.
Jesus
That
Christ.
doesn't seem possible. Doesn't it max out at, like, 205 or something like that?
I don't know.
That seems wild, but
Well, don't do that.
yeah. I mean, everything in moderation, right? Like if you go hard, that's fine, but
Just only do it once.
only do it once. I'll try.
But how are
anything
you not
twice.
just like squirting blood out of like every orifice in your body at that point?
Yeah.
When I see those people, it reminds me, like, they remind me of the scene in Total Recall where Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, goes outside. He's like, ah,
Yeah.
his eyes are bugging out.
Yeah.
Doesn't look fun.
Ride my bike like 50 miles a day, try some new recipes, finally finish Stalker 2 and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I'm assuming those are video games. Read my book and check out that high-end shoe store downtown with the least convenient hours on earth. That's a good thing. Yeah, there's like a lot of small businesses that I always think like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to go to, but their hours are, it's like 2 to 4 or whatever
Yeah.
daily. Yeah.
The recipes one is good. Like, it would be nice to be able to spend time making those recipes where they're like, oh, and now we're just going to make the, the lobster bisque sauce. And I was like, yeah, but it takes 45 minutes.
Right.
Like be able to like go to the store, get like all the ingredients, take your time doing that.
Yeah. Spend a nice little afternoon, making a thing, which some of the recipes I've seen they're pretty intensive of like, it's always just making the sauces, but yeah.
I would
Yeah, you could do some,
I would try a brisket because I haven't braved a brisket yet for smoking. And
I made it in the
normally
oven before, but not smoking.
yeah. And normally I wouldn't have the time or the patience, but I would try that.
For sure. Well, those are our plans. Let us know what you have planned for a week off. Very exciting.
Catching up on all the episodes of Qualified Nonsense you missed.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that. I wonder if you did stack our episodes end to end, like how much time you would spend listening to them.
Jake,
you put calculations into all of your intros. Do that for
the
the next time.
I'll figure that one out. Wait, I did this calculation like 6 episodes ago.
It was like 125,600.
Yeah, exactly. No, we should also talk to my buddy Eli, who's been listening to the backlogs of the show, who has that bar in Troy, Michigan, Stumblebum Brewing. He's been backlog listening, so we'll have to ask him how he is.
I would guess this would be our 80th episode we're releasing, or 79th. No, wait, 89th. right?
Because
Because let's see,
So we stopped at
because this would be
69.
like season 2, episode 20 is what this one would be. So yeah, this would be 89. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably over 80 hours of content
No,
end to end.
this is 21, isn't it?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Either.
Doesn't matter.
Either way, a solid week.
Listen to it all back to back, time it, and let us know. There's no other way to figure it out.
If you put on Dark Side of the Moon and then start it 14 minutes into the very first podcast, we tell a story.
But
Wouldn't
as
that
always,
be
thank you
wild?
all for listening. Please support the show over at patreon.com/qualifiednonsense. Watch us over at youtube.com/@qualifiednonsense. And feel free to send any questions or comments to qualifiednonsense@gmail.com or hit us up on our socials found in the episode description. After you've done all that, please rate, review, share, like, and subscribe on your podcast app of choice. See you back here next week for another brand new episode of Qualified Nonsense.
Later.
Bye.